is Mr. Mike Corr!
As a woman in science, my name's Mike. I'm a postdoc at the University of St Andrews and I study organo-fluorine chemistry. I was a late addition to the bill tonight, replacing someone, and my friend Kate asked, "Oh, who are you replacing?" I said, "Oh, the girl on the bill called Elaine." She said, "That's a shame, she's funny." So, tonight I thought I'd tell you about why I got interested in chemistry in the first place. And the reason that I studied chemistry was that I wanted to be a superhero. So, in order to get superpowers for my work, I'd either have to be a really good chemist, or I'd have to be a really bad chemist. Let me explain that. If I was a really good chemist, I could devise some sort of amazing formula to give me superpowers. If I was a really bad chemist, I'd be getting in lots of lab accidents and could somehow luck upon superpowers that way. Thinking back, I'd like to think that I've settled somewhere in between. You know, I haven't made any life-changing discoveries, but I also haven't blown up any labs. I've been in chemistry for over 10 years now, and neither I nor any of my friends have developed superpowers based on our work. I'm beginning to suspect that comic book writers just make this stuff up. Maybe they need some sort of peer review process. Dear Dr. Banner, we were very excited to read your paper, How Gamma Radiation Turns Me into a Giant Green Rage Monster. We would love to publish this, but we need some clarification on experimental procedures. Number 1, how much radiation, what sort of dose is required to affect the transformation? Is a PhD necessary for the transformation to occur? Can less intelligent life forms be used, such as undergraduates? Or even men? Yes, I do know how to pander to a crowd. One of the things that I've noticed as well, watching all these superhero movies, is that labs don't work the same way that they do in the movies. Recently, I watched that film, The Amazing Spider-Man. Has anyone seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. And in it, Peter Parker gets his amazing Spider-Man powers by just wandering around one of the biggest biotech companies in America, completely unheeded. The tiniest bit of security could have made that movie 20 minutes long, rather than 2 hours we had to sit through. I mean, my lab has got better security than that. If you want to get into our labs, there's a little proximity sensor at the door. You just you need to swipe your staff card by it, and voila, access to the wonderful world of chemistry. Now, I keep my staff card in my wallet in my front pocket, so when I walk up to the door, all I have to do is take out my wallet, wave it in front of the sensor, and the door's open. However, I've often found that frequently I'm either carrying chemicals or I'm carrying equipment from the stores. You know, sometimes I've got my hands full, and I suppose I could get to the door, I could put the box down, but the floor is all the way down there. And you know, having to do this 3 or 4 times a day, it just gets annoying. So I thought, maybe I'll see how good this sensor is. So I've got the box in my hands, I just sort of go at the sensor, just above hip height, so I sort of raise up my tiptoes. Nope, not working. Move around a bit. Nope, a bit bigger. Nope, seems not to be working. Took me a minute or two to realise that I was giving the wall a lap dance. Like some sort of third-rate chemistry stripper. What's worse, what if someone had come along at that point? You know, hi Michael, is everything okay? Oh yeah, boss, chemistry's going well, just picked up these chemicals. I think you need to go to speak to someone in HR. Yeah, I can see that. The other thing I've found about being a scientist is that I can't watch movies in the same way as normal people anymore. Do you know what annoyed me most about that Spider-Man movie? Wasn't scientific inaccuracies, wasn't liberties taken with the source material. It was one scene where a background extra, not even a main character, someone you're not even supposed to look at, reached up to his head with his latex gloves on and scratched. Ah! I almost screamed at the screen, no, you can't do that! You don't know what's in your hat, gloves, now it's all over your head. You contaminated yourself. Did it teach you nothing? Maybe that's why no one goes to the cinema with me anymore. That, you know, all the grinding against door handles that I do. So, thinking about how I first got interested in chemistry got me thinking, you know, what would happen if I developed superpowers based on my work? As I said, I'm in organofluorine chemistry, so picture this scene. It's Friday, it's 5 o'clock, the chemistry department lies barren like an empty wasteland. Our mild-mannered postdoc works long and hard into the night. Suddenly, he is bitten by a radioactive undergrad. He becomes St. Andrew's greatest hero. He becomes, wait for it, he win! He becomes Flourine Man! I'd like to say this is the first time women have cheered when I put more clothes on. So, I hear you asking yourself, what powers would Flourine Man have? Well, first off, I'm rarely found in nature, which I think you'll agree is probably a good thing. Secondly, one of the main components of Teflon is fluorine, and that would give me amazing non-stick properties, which means that a fry-up would never be ruined again. And believe me, being from Glasgow, that would make me a god amongst the Glaswegians. And thirdly, in my radioactive state, I can last for 109 minutes. Ladies. Let's just be clear, that includes your taxi ride home. I am a superhero, not some sort of machine. So, throughout my chemistry career, a lot of people have said to me, you know, as I said, Teflon, an important part of Teflon is fluorine. A lot of people have said, you know, chemistry is a lot like cooking. And I suppose I can see that, but to me, chemistry has always been more like sex. For example, there are many similarities between chemistry and sex. First of all, latex protection is often required. Secondly, a lot of people develop fancy new techniques or buy a lot of fancy equipment to try and improve the reaction. There are also many ways in which chemistry and sex are not alike. For example, I don't care if it's between consenting adults, but chloroform belongs in the lab. And secondly, you know, I've actually received praise for my chemistry skills. But there's one area in particular where chemistry and sex really overlap for me, and that's in column chromatography. For those of you that don't know, column chromatography is a process of purifying organic compounds by using a sort of long cylindrical glass tube which you pour through with solvents and silica and it cleans them up. And there's three reasons that column chromatography reminds me of sex. First reason, alcohol is often involved. Secondly, I frequently find myself wishing for a bigger column. And the third reason that column chromatography most reminds me of sex is that I spend the vast majority of my time doing it manually.